Hello and welcome to this video of how to complete a grid drawing. For this task we need a ruler, a pen, a pencil and a rubber. You also need an image, what you want to transfer onto your piece of paper, and what we're going to do first of all is mark up our image so we can transfer it onto our piece of paper. So you need to grab your ruler, measuring from 0 across the top. If you've got an A4 piece of paper it should measure to about 21 centimeters. And you need to decide how big of a grid you're going to use. I'm going to use a grid of 3 centimeters wide, since 3 goes into 21. So I'm going to mark 3 centimeters there. 6 centimeters, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21 on the end there. Okay, so what you're going to do is bring them really down and measure the same measurements on the bottom so you can make a straight line. Put 0 on the edge, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21's on the end. Okay, so when we're making a straight line we always need to make sure we're putting our ruler through that mark at the top and the mark at the bottom. So make sure they go through the centre of each mark, double check and draw your line down. Right, I'm going to use my pen to make the marks on my image because the pen's obviously a bit darker. So make my first line through there. Lovely. So now you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns across the top. We're going to turn our image sideways and we're going to do the same and measure some 3 centimeter gaps along here. So if your A4 piece of paper should measure about 29.67 ish. So mark 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, obviously 30's on the end, we won't do that one. Measure the bottom. Make sure you spend some time making sure these measurements are correct because you need your boxes to be accurate in order to make your drawing accurate. So once you've done that, you might want to give your boxes some coordinates. So across the top, I'm going to go for A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and down the bottom, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. I'll put the 9th one there, I don't think I'll need it there. Right, you then need to do the exact same on this piece of paper. So 3 centimeters across the top, 3 centimeters across down the side as well. But I'm going to do this in pencil and make sure my marks are really light this time. Okay, now we've made our grid, we need to start to plot our outline. Now, I find the best way to do it is to start methodically and start from the top left and then come down each box as you go. Some people like to do the whole detail in one box at a time and then move on to the second box, but I prefer to do the outline first of all and then move on to the detail inside each box then. So what we need to do is first of all find out where our box is first in. So along the corridor, down the stairs, B2 is my first box in the top left where I'm going to start in. Now, if we zoom into B2, I've put a little mark in this box so I know which one I'm working in. And I'll zoom in to B2. So what you can do, what you want to do first of all is see how far across from that center point that line starts. So it's not quite halfway in my box, it's just inside of halfway there. So if I was going to guess, I would say there's my halfway point. The skull is maybe about there. That's where it's starting to travel up from. Now I need to find where it comes out of my box. If I was to look at that, I always look at halfway points. That is about, really it's about halfway, isn't it? Maybe just over. So if I was to guess, halfway will be about there. So I think my skull exits that box about there. But it does have that slight dip there from that point. You can see that sort of ridge. Now, what you could do to double check that you've done that right is get your ruler and split your box again into half. So I've got my 3 cm by 3 cm box. So I'm going to make a mark at 1.5 in this box, at the top and at the bottom. If I draw those marks up, my halfway point, and then I'll do the same for the side. 1.5 is there, side 1.5 is there, and join those two up as well. You need to repeat that process on your same box over here. So with your pencil this time, make sure you're doing it really faint. 1.5 at the top, measure 1.5 at the bottom, join them up, nice and faint, remember, so you can rub it out. And then you want to measure the side, 1.5, 1.5, and we draw a line across to join those dots up to. So what this does is give us more of a guide of how much of a gap between the grid we actually need. So we've just made more grid boxes. The smaller the box, the more information that you can get from there easily. So look at mine. Look at that little bit that comes just above the halfway line. I've got a little bit that comes above there. The angle of mine down there is about halfway in this box. So that's about right. But I think if I wanted to be really precise about this, I'd maybe move my little mark here slightly across. It becomes more like that, maybe. Because if you look in the second box down here, it's starting to swoop out round here anyway. So that's what we're doing for our grid drawing. We're taking the information, i.e. the outline in this box, and replicating it in our box. If you want to make it easier for you to gauge the measurements, then you can add another box to make it easier. So, don't always have to do that though. You can do if you want. So, in this box, for example, where there's a bit more information, it might be a bit more helpful. But I can already see that obviously the outline starts, carries on from the line we just done, and it comes down into the actual corner down here, doesn't it? So I know the outline of my skull needs to come down to there. But I need to look at the trajectory of that line and see if it curves round, if it's just a straight line. But no, it sort of dips in, there's a bit of a mound there, and it dips back down there. So I might sketch it in first of all lightly. Something like that. I know there's another line that's sort of parallel down here. And think about where that starts to curve off. It's about there, that line, isn't it? I've gone too high with that already. Think about where it sort of travels up to. That end of that line sort of finishes halfway across that box there. So I know this line across here, it's around there somewhere. Mark a point on that. Okay, so I'm going to carry on and do the rest of my outline. See if you guys can follow on. So just to recap, you need to make your grid 3 centimeters by 3 centimeters. Once you've done that on both images, maybe label them so you're not going to get confused as to which box you're working in. Working one box at a time, like you've seen me do. It's a lot of maths involved, but try and measure your lines against other lines. So remember, if you're really struggling, then you could always add some more boxes in. You might have seen me in the video sort of marking across from one picture to the other to sort of guesstimate where that line needs to be. As a whole, I think my drawing's okay. Maybe my nose could do a bit of work in there. But I'm quite happy with my drawing as a whole, really. Yeah, so that is how to do a grid drawing. Look forward to seeing your drawings as well. Thank you very much for watching.